What if I were to suggest that you play a key role in the awakening world? And that you are watching this because you have heard the call. We can start right now by opening our hearts and minds. Welcome to the awakening world.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Awakening World. I am your host, Love Coach Scott Katamas, and I have two other wonderful co-hosts with me tonight, Jennifer Hill and Teresa Collins, and the Global Coherence Pulse. It's one of our regular collaborations with them, as we're going to be talking about a beautiful topic, unleashing the power of the heart. Now, I want to welcome everybody that is watching on Facebook or YouTube right now. Come and join us. We have a really beautiful group of people with us, and it's a lot easier to ask you questions and kind of connect. We put all the links to all the people you're going to be seeing in the chat box. So if you're with us live in the Zoom room, you're able to really get the experience much more fully. And it's really easy to join the Global Peace Tribe. All you got to do is go to globalpeacetribe.com. globalpeacetribe.com. You can learn all about the shows and all about what we do, and then click register for the new season. That takes you to our registration page. We do 3 or more shows every weekend, and with amazing hosts and great guests, always inspiring, always providing lots of information, and often lots of live music. And everybody, please remember to mute. Need somebody to mute themselves, please. Thank you so much. See, we're live and we're all in Zoom, and we also hear people when they aren't muted. So that's part of the magic of what we're doing here. Anyway, we do multiple shows. This is the show you're about to see tonight. So join us, come on in and become part of the Global Peace Tribe. Well, I love the opportunity to work with Teresa Collins and Jennifer Hill. They are both amazing human beings. And looking for Jennifer, there she is. And they just did an amazing Global Coherence Pulse event, and are rolling right into our show tonight. So welcome, ladies, and thank you for being here.
Thank you, Scott. You know, I'm just looking at the screen with all 3 of us here, and we were just remarking that, you know, Scott, you started in April of 2020. The Pulse started in March of 2020. Jennifer, with her Coalition for Global Unity, started at the same time.
Yeah.
Right. So we all just felt this call to create these opportunities for us to come together right when we needed it most, to join our energies, to keep deepening our capacity for greater love and coherence. And so I just want to say it's such a blessing to continue to collaborate with the 2 of you and to show up in these moments where we bring our friends and we say, let's have a Saturday night that we hang out together and nourish ourselves, because right now we need it, you know, to choose love over fear, to choose a loving response in the face of so much challenge happening all around the world, the breakdown everywhere, the sadness, the how much our humanity needs our love, right? And to be able to join together in these moments and nourish and fuel ourselves so we can keep saying yes and keep choosing love in the face of whatever we're facing. So thank you.
Beautifully stated. And we really are global. We've got Jennifer, who's in Portugal. We've got people with us from Australia, Ecuador, British Columbia, Nebraska, Florida, of course, California. So it's really cool that we have truly a global peace tribe coming together to receive the pulse and to be inspired and be in global community together.
Yeah.
And I love what I believe it was Rev Jeffries in the chat said, and it's Ho'oponopono prayer. If you're not familiar with it, it's an ancient, beautiful Hawaiian blessing that you can say out loud for yourself or for others you may be in conflict with. And it's this easy. It is, I apologize. Please forgive me. Thank you for being in my life so that I may love you. And this recently came up on another show or opportunity I was on, and I didn't realize this, but the doctor who came up with this had a hospital full of patients. And every day he would say this prayer for every one of the patients in the hospital until finally they had to shut down the hospital because there were no patients left. So that's the power of forgiveness and healing.
Yeah.
I had the opportunity to meet that doctor and study with him in Hawaii about 10 or 15 years ago, probably 15 years ago. So I'm gonna real quickly, he's gonna lead our dancing tonight during the musical numbers. This is Reverend Jeffrey from Florida.
Hi, we know Jeffrey, of course. Love illusion.
Yep, he and the
There's
Wild
the
Albert,
solution.
Jerry, I'll bring on Jerry Anderson. And when she joins us also, of course, our wonderful lady from British Columbia. So anyway, thank you guys. Looking forward to you to this movement. Eleanor Joy is who I was thinking of also.
Yeah. So you can feel already, tonight you can relax. Tonight you can relax with family, with community of heart. You can open yourself up and get nourished, and we can have some fun together, and we can learn some things from each other that will help us stay strong and stay open and stay resilient. So I'm excited about that. And I'm excited that when we do these, we do a pulse in the morning, and then we do our combination, our bring that energy into the evening. So this morning, we did this beautiful pulse, and I wonder, Scott, if you would bring up the image for that.
Yeah.
I created this morning, adding Tammy in because I didn't originally have it. It was so beautiful as these three ladies shining in this image right now is the experience that we had on the pulse this morning, where they really just offered from their heart, their own journey of, leading from the heart, transforming their heart-centered life. And we're going to hear from each one of them, and they're going to bring that energy from this morning, which was like a bubble popping all over the world with love. We all felt it, into our energy tonight. And we're going to start with Tammy Briggs is going to bring us into a little kind of attunement. Like, let's just let ourselves drop in with a little sound of the harp, singing us home to our heart. And then I'll introduce Grace and Michelle as they'll share with you. And then we'll end that little segment with Tammy playing us out with some harp. And that will just kind of bring the energy from this morning into the evening. So
wonderful, Teresa. Thank you so much. And the song that I have selected for this opening is called Healers of the Heart. And I would invite you to possibly place your hands on your heart if that's comfortable to you. Breathe into your heart and let the music touch you wherever you need to be touched. Healers of the Heart.
Aw. Tammy, I love that your intention while you play is to connect us with our own inner peace so that we can radiate it out, bringing peace and calm into the world. What a beautiful intention to hold as you bring us back home into our hearts. Thank you so much. That was so beautiful. I can feel this morning some bubbles are popping all over here. Beautiful. So I'm going to start with Grace Lin, who is one of our guides today. And Grace Lin is the author of Personal Heart Power, co-founder of the Global Heart Team, and creator of the Loving Journey program. For over 2 decades, she has facilitated many people's personal growth through different spiritual practices, including her Loving Journey program, workshops, and retreats. Her vision is to stand in love for all people to support the shift into a love-focused humanity. And I have to say, today, you kind of like claimed your purpose, like so beautifully. It's like, I'm here as a stand for every single molecule on this planet to awaken to a love-focused life. And I love that about you, your enthusiasm. And I'm so glad you're on the planet holding that for all of us. And we're going to get there. Thank you, Grace. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you, Teresa. And I'm happy to be here tonight to unleash the power of love, the power of the heart. So yeah, I'd like to share a little PowerPoint about what I'm here to bring into the world and to share. And so I'm here to bring in the Global Heart Team. Let's see here. Yeah, the Global Heart Team. So the Global Heart Team is standing in love to support the shift into a love-focused humanity. So that is my mission. And so the Global Heart Team mission is to infuse the world with loving energy that supports this shift into this love-focused humanity. And so when I was in a Barbara Marx Hubbard retreat in 2016, we're in Taos, New Mexico, taking a shower, I got these downloaded, 7 We Stand in Love visions. And so I want you to close your eyes and I want you to imagine standing in a circle all together, holding hands. And we're standing in love for the equality and mutual respect of all people, for the health, safety, and welfare of all people, for enough food and resources to share our gifts for the benefit of humanity, for a peaceful resolution of conflicts to create a peaceful world, and for protecting Mother Earth and all her natural resources for a sustainable Earth. And we stand in love for the oneness of humanity. Now, when that got downloaded in the shower, I went and wrote it down and just took this to the group when I was in with Barbara Marx Hubbard, and we stood there and held it. And so standing in love, it started in 2015. I was driving home from Sister Marcia, the upper left-hand corner, was a Catholic nun at the time. She was 89. I was visiting her, driving home, and all of a sudden the divine calling said, start the Global Heart Team. I had no clue what that was. I even pulled off the road to go Google it. And when I Googled Global Heart Team, it was just about heart surgeons. And I knew I wasn't to be a cardiac surgeon. So I just said, okay, what is this? So me and Sister Marcia started dialoguing. What would a Global Heart Team do if you're not a cardiac surgeon? And so I bought a map of the globe and started putting hearts in my office. I just asked people to start putting hearts where they thought love needed to be. It could have been where friends and family lived, and it grew from there. And so then it went to my family. There's my 2 sons in the lower right-hand corner, and there was local people in my own work, branching out. And so this expanded, and we do a little water blessing here in the lower corner. So it started out locally. And then it evolved in 2016 to 2018 when it went nationally. We went around the United States. I was inspired and guided to go to different things, to like the Barbara Marx Hubbard in 2016, 2017 retreats. And then we were called to go to the 2017 Women's March in Washington, D.C., marching with 500,000 plus people, standing in love at that time. And then we were at the Julie Kroll down where Good of the Whole that November. And then with Co-Creators Convergence. And then more love in the Washington, D.C. So 2016 and 18, we were going around the United States, just being heart inspired. And then Sharon McLean with the Net of Light, Grandmother Speaks, is down the lower right, left-hand corner. So this got bigger. Well, then 2019 got bigger. We went global. And so global, first place was Finland in the Natural High Healing Festival in the Nordic in Finland. So we got to do our first Global Heart Meditation Hour and spent time there. And then went over to Europe, over to Stonehenge, standing in love at Stonehenge. And then went over to Ireland. You see where there's flows, planting a seed with our taxi driver. We went up to Belfast and we were between the Protestants and the Catholics. And we're at this peace wall here, this piece here. And the Global Heart team stands in love for all. And so standing from this wall, we're embodying. And so it's looking at going from that global, we thought, wow, 2019, and then standing in love, we were at the Heart Math at the conference there down in Tulum, Mexico in November of 2019, where we were standing in love, having a vision of what a love-focused humanity would be like. And then the pandemic hit in 2020. And so then we had to go to Zoom. So we started Global Heart with the Good of the Whole on Thursdays in March of 2020 when Good of the Whole started the connection field. And we've been meeting there ever since for the past 3 years, weekly, sharing love out into the field. And then the map behind me too, the Global Heart map for this year, is we're sending love out, being heart inspired. And then when you're doing a pandemic, you write a book with your best friend. So me and Michelle Marie, we wrote Personal Heart Power, which is transforming to a love-focused life. Really feeling inspired and got divinely led to write this book. Even Personal Heart Power was divinely given to us, downloaded to us. So this book is all about tools of how to make that shift from fear to love. And then Loving Journey Group, which I created in 2015 after my first Barbara Marx family reunion retreat. It's a 12-week group that leads shifting from fear to love, owning your personal heart power. So this year for the Global Heart is our Global Heart Seeding Challenge. This is where we're challenging people. If there is one thing you could say to seed hope and love into 8 billion personal hearts, what would you say? Just think about it. If you had one thing to say that you could send out to 8 billion personal hearts, what would it be? And if you want to put it in the chat, that'd be great. Just what is it? What would I want to say to someone? Feel inspired and then share it. Share whatever you want to say out on Facebook, out with your friends. Get that seed out. Let it be planted and growing. So looking some seeds already here that came from our Global Heart team was find peace in your heart and radiate it out. Was planted by Tammy Briggs here. Our hearts are all connected through universal love and light. That was planted by Kelly, another Global Heart team member. Hope is the magical resonance that attracts us all to embrace peace. Planted by Charlie. And a simple one, you are loved. People need to hear that they are loved. And that was planted by Flo. And that we are the children of Mother Earth was planted by Heather. So looking at these seeds, the power of our words and the power of our intention to seed 8 billion hearts, personal hearts with more love, more hope in order to shift and transform into that love-focused life. So here's ways if you want to get a part of Global Heart Team, if you feel inspired by our mission, join us. We want this to go big. We want all hearts changed, no personal heart left behind. So this is our website, globalheartteam.org, Facebook, email. If you want to get to hold me personally, if you're inspired, please get me at globalheartteam1@gmail.com.
I'm part of the Global Heart team.
Yes, you are. There's a lot of people here. It's on the Global Heart team. So thank you all. So I just want to thank every one of you here for having the courage, because when I had a vision, it was of a boy on the other side of the love-focused humanity. It was at a Barbara Marx, and I had actually felt teleported. And it was probably a 9-year-old boy named Jason on the other side of this field. And I was in the mode of fear, and he was in the love focused life. And he said, tell them over there, thank you for having the courage to stand in love, because it creates this reality over here. So I want to share that Jason gave to me, to thank all of you for having the courage to stand in love, especially through these tumultuous and changing times. So thank you.
Thank you, Grace. Thank you for shining your light so bright. And I love a couple of things. One, this is definitely a Barbara Marx Hubbard alumni group. You know, so many of us for a lineage of that particular impulse around conscious evolution, and that, you know, islands of coherence and all of the resonance, all of those things. So I love that. And yeah, and I just love your embodied story. It's important that we hear a story around a spark, and a spark that you say yes to, and you don't question, but you actually just allow it to unfold. And what a beautiful representation that was in your sharing today. We need to see it. We need to see examples. Yeah.
And thank you to all put the comments in the chat, your seeds. Thank you all. They're beautiful.
I know. I love seeing them. Well, let's just keep putting them in, I think, all night. That's a great question, is what would you say if you could say something to every single soul on this planet? What would it be? And I mean, beautiful, beautiful sharings here. Let's keep them going. Thank you, Grace. And let's all join the Global Heart Team. We're on the team, right? We're on the team, and we'll just keep showing up and doing that. I love it. Oh, look at there. There's the Global Heart Team website. You guys you really have such beautiful offerings to help, to help people find their way. And we need it right now. I mean, even those of us who have been practicing for years, now that we're in the face of what we're facing, boy, we need each other to help us and remind us and give us tools. And so thank you, Grace. Love you. And thank you for this morning. Yeah.
You're welcome.
And then let's bring in your partner, Michelle. Michelle, who joined us for the Pulse this morning as well. And Michelle, we had such a beautiful time. I love the way that the two of you weave together, and I love being able to spend some time with both of you individually tonight and hear your voices in the unique way that they share. And Michelle Marie is a dynamic, transformational visionary who is most invigorated when guiding people to reach their fullest potential for a love-focused life. Her daily life, combined with her education, work, and philanthropic experiences, brought her on is that like a circular journey that eventually connected as she became co-author of The Personal Heart Power and creator of Love Voice Rising. I'm so excited about Love Voice Rising. She wants to do her part to transform our world into one that is rooted in love. And I certainly have experienced that with you. And I love this, you have where Grace has just like over bubbling love presence. You have this like really like right here, right now, I'm here with you. I've been there before. I know this is true. Let's choose it, right? It's like matter of fact, right here on the earth. And I really love that about you. So thank you, Michelle, for joining us tonight.
Well, thank you so much. Yeah, I have the great fortune of partnering with Grace, and those were impulses too. Like, who knew if we had time for the story of Grace and I? It's a fun impulse that we kept following and got to. And tonight I'm here to talk about Love Voice Rising, which was another impulse. It dropped from the sky. It was between and transition, and wondering what the heck am I going to do now? And that one of those moments where it's just like, you're going to start a business and it's going to be called Love Voice Rising, and I'm like, what? I'm not here to start a business. And yet it's more of a movement in my mind and spreading love in the world. So it felt like that's the way that we went. And so I too am going to have a little presentation of a little bit of insight to Love Voice Rising. I can move my things around here to get to the slides. A moment. And so again, Love Voice Rising, what Love Voice Rising is it's that it starts as a small voice, and then through life, hopefully it gets louder and more clear for us. And many of you who are gathered here tonight, clearly you're familiar with what love is. It's the attractor for us and why we're coming together on these platforms, because we know that we need that extra support. You know, we realize in this time we need that extra connection for ourselves too, to stay grounded in what we're doing. And so as we connect with that love voice that rises within us, it really comes from the heart. And I have my whole name there, Michelle Marie Grabansky Pohlad, because for me, each of those names represent how my voice of love took a journey to become what it is today, and how I ended up in this place. And to just remember that we are love, and we are loved, and we are love voice rising. And that's why we're all here today, because we want to rise that voice of love. And so the intention for Love Voice Rising is to inspire and challenge and support people as they create their life, the life that they desire, living through and with the power of that unconditional love. And connecting it, and the vision really is to create that movement where the voice of love rises above the voices of fear, anger, separation, and pain, with the aim to bring about a world where love truly does prevail. And I know if you're here, you believe in that world, and we're all co-creating it, and we're going to support each other and others through that. And how do we do this at Love Voice Rising? Well, how we do this at Love Voice Rising is we start through that heart connection. And it's surprising, you know, for those of us who are familiar with that voice of love within us, sometimes we forget how many people do not know that voice at all. There's an abundance of people who don't know that voice at all. And that's why, as Teresa was talking about, you know, it's just like all that stuff that's going on in the world, it would be really easy to be pulled over into that voice of fear as our guide and our support. And what happens when that happens is that we just end up in the problem. But here in the voice of love, we're able to start with a solution. So the intention of Love Voice Rising is to help people rise that voice. Our love voice wants to rise, and it lives in our hearts, and it's talking to us, and sometimes it's a whisper, but there's plenty of us here tonight who it speaks louder than that. And the conversation that voice of love shares with each one of us is unique for us. It has a different, unusual calling for each one of us. And that is one of the important things, I think, at Love Voice Rising, is to help people understand their own unique self is beautiful, and it's needed and desired in the world just as it is, and the journey that we are each meant to take. And when that happens, when we get that connection to that voice, we change how we show up in the world. I know everybody here can recognize where they came from and where they are today, and that journey that it took. And it wasn't always easy. But boy, it's so beautiful when you can actually get to that place where you connect to that voice of love, and it becomes really contagious to ourselves, and we want to keep showing up for it. And at Love Voice Rising, we believe it's really the major key to experiencing the life that we desire. So in that heart connection, that personal heart connection, as we call it in our book, Personal Heart Power, we really then, when we're living from that place, we start attracting that, and we get connected, and that's why these fields here are growing as well. And so by allowing our love voices to rise, we begin to realize that we can live more boldly, more lovingly, more authentically, and more courageously than ever before. And isn't it beautiful? I mean, I know each of us can see how it's expanding in our world, even in all the chaos and the anxiety-driven news and things that are going on. We can also recognize the love, and we get to be a part of expanding that platform consciously. And how do we do this? We start with our personal heart power at Love Voice Rising, and that's where we get still and listen. And again, so many people, this was a big learning for me in my journey, is that I didn't realize how many people didn't know how to listen to that voice. I didn't understand that people weren't living their life with that as their lead. And so my learning has been that, and boy, as Grace can attest, I have had my challenges in recognizing how much fear really is the foundation. And when I learned that it was the foundation of our world, it really shifted my paradigm greatly. And so in that, finding my love voice again and recalibrating, what I came to is being able to calm my mind and open my heart. And a calm mind does not mean an empty mind, because that's not really all that possible for most of us, but it's where we don't go into the frenzy of the mind, the chaos where it draws us away from being able to move forward and make those choices for us. And so in that, when we can get to that calm place and open our heart, calm mind and open our heart, that's when we're able to connect to that voice of love that we each carry. And so then what do we do? So at Love Voice Rising, the real intention is to just reach people who have that like inner knowing, but they're not really familiar yet what love is or what the platform of love is, or they don't know how to necessarily live it out loud on a regular basis, but they have the yearning for more of something. And so what we do is we start practicing that. And we start building trust to that voice. Individuals start building a trust to believing that voice that's inside, that's saying, yeah, I am calling you to be all of that. Yes, I am unfolding the path and the journey for you to be all of that. And you start becoming safe and feeling safe in those practices, in safe places. And then what starts happening is we begin bravely living love out loud. And this platform tonight, many people are bravely living love out loud. And this doesn't mean in volume. It really means in the connection to our voice, internal voice, and then trusting it and following it. And knowing that it's going to guide us and support us. And we trust that the voice is going to guide us and lead us to our authentic life. And for many of us, we have to unpack and go, what is that even? That's part of the human journey, though. That is simply part of being human, is to unpack that and know that we're okay. So it's really helping people understand, too, that wherever they are right now is great and wonderful. And if you want something different, if you're feeling that impulse, then it's about learning how to connect and move forward with that. And so what we like to say is, it's like we begin to bravely live love out loud when we're able to connect to that love voice inside. And we do that by making moments, just moments sometimes. And that's one of the practices. Just how can you recognize or how can you try doing those love moments? We get those impulses inside, and how many times do we ignore them? Because we're afraid of the reactions of other people. We're not sure how they're going to handle it. But how do we get more brave around that? And so there's moments of joy, for sure, you can see on the one side. But the other side, how do we also bravely live love out loud in those moments that are challenging? When we recognize a situation or a loved one who comes to us, and maybe it's not as easy or as comfortable to connect in that space of love. How do we get more brave in those moments? And then also when we start recognizing those in the practice of Love Voice Rising, we start recognizing the small moments, making just those moments, then we begin to start recognizing and living and bravely living out loud by making memories. And we start noticing the memories that we make. We make love memories through love at work, with family, with friends, and out in the community. And many of us making loving memories with family and friends is easy and joyful, and it's an easy and safe place for us to do it. But there's also many people that's not safe at all. That's not a place where loving memories can be made. It's more challenging. And so it's like in that, maybe the work environment is the easier place, or out in the community is the easier place. But what happens is when you start connecting to that love voice, you start gaining an awareness of how you're doing this. You start gaining an awareness. Am I brave enough to live it out loud? Just a little bit. Can I be a little bit more brave at those family gatherings that always make me feel so uncomfortable? And you start recognizing how other people's voice of love, you start being able to recognize maybe they're living in a lot of fear. That's why it's so hard to connect with me. And so then what I love too is that after we start doing that, some of us get the impulse to do something, and we bravely live out loud by making movements. And when we make those movements, we follow these impulses to start these various things, and we don't even know sometimes why we're doing it, but we can't even stop ourselves. We're just pulled into doing that. And All of them are important. And at Love Voice Rising, what I really, really want to emphasize is that not all of us are meant to make movements. And we live, especially in the Western world, we're taught that it's supposed to be big, big, big. How much bigger can you be? How much bigger can you be? But sometimes it's those smallest moments that are layered upon one another. It's that safe space of experiencing those small moments that really can spread love incrementally and in safe ways for people where the big movements are just too much. So we each have our unique calling in life, and we have to believe that the love voice in us is guiding us to be who and what we're meant to be authentically, and feel good about whoever we are, wherever we are in any given moment, and connecting. And what happens is when you connect with that love voice, you want to connect with other people. You want to connect with other ones. That's why we come here. We know that it's a benefit for us to do that. And when we do that, once we get to this place where we just really understand what it means to bravely live our love out loud, we want to really celebrate and honor how we bravely live that love out loud. Celebration is such an important part of life. You know, it's the playful part. It's how do you get silly and playful? And Grace and I had a lot of fun, doing different things, because life can be really heavy and weigh us down, even when we're working in the field of love. It's like sometimes my darkest moments are because you can just feel the pain of others so much. And to find that balance, you have to remember to celebrate and be playful with others. And so that is what Love Voice Rising is in a nutshell. And it's so beautiful when we can join. I feel so grateful to be a part of here tonight. I want to say thank you to each of you for taking the time to hear a little bit about what Love Voice Rising is. I have more information on my website, obviously, and I also put here Personal Heart Power, our book website as well. And I do calls, a free monthly call, the first Wednesday of each month for Love Voice Rising, to just begin to get people to really tap into that. And it's a really safe place, if you haven't done it before, to gather in a group where you begin speaking and using your voice in a way that's a little bit of a stretch from where you are right now. So as we go forward, what I like to close with Love Voice Rising when I do anything is I like to say, just remember that you are love, you are loved, and you are Love Voice Rising.
Mm. That's so beautiful. I love live our life, live our love bravely. Like that's really it. It really requires that we just let our love shine out, knowing it's the answer, knowing it's the guide, knowing it's the vibration that is, showing us our passion and purpose. And if we follow it, we're surprised at every corner. And it doesn't mean that it's not hard. It just means that it has a level of yes involved that just lets you move through the tough stuff with this really natural state of buoyancy. Yeah,
exactly. That's really beautifully said. And what I love about it is, love really allows us to follow our dreams, and fear will take us away from them. So it's like, but once you start connecting to that love voice, what happens is when you feel yourself being dragged to fear, all of a sudden you feel it, and you're like, wait, it's all crazy and I can't make it. And it's like, oh yeah, I can pause and I can just go into that space. And it's like, sometimes 3 deep breaths can do wonders, can't it?
yeah. And that's what life needs most from us right now. Right. This is the moment. It's not coming soon, right? It's been coming soon for a while, but this is the moment right now where we need to listen to our love voice rising and follow that voice, because that's what life needs most from us right now. And to be able to be courageous and to not get sucked into the old patterns that are still part of that part of ourselves that was separated from life. And we have to open to the part that knows that we're connected to life, and everything we feed the field matters. So love is a good thing to feed the field with.
And to remember, that that's not easy for everyone. that was my biggest learning. It's like, love was easy for me, but I didn't realize how that can actually be one of the most difficult words for people to attach to. So to have that meet people where they are, really meet people where they are, it's beautiful when we can recognize that. So thank you so much.
Thank you,
Grateful for
Michelle.
being here.
Yeah, Scott, let's bring up Michelle's website, Love's Voice Rising. I love that besides the book as a tool, you and Grace are both offering things that we could attend every week if we wanted to. Like, there's a community of practice forming. And if you want to share something about the website and how people can just at least stay in touch with what you're doing.
Yeah, and so if you go to the website, there's ways to reach out via email, but there's also, some, an intro video. There's, and I do the monthly calls, like I mentioned, and it just keeps expanding over time. I do retreats and I do small group gatherings to spread the word, and I found that the smaller groups actually feel more comfortable for people as they're just beginning to connect to that inner voice. But sometimes they end up being big groups and it's just a different experience. So thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Michelle. And let's bring Tammy back on, and let's kind of seal this energy that we generated with the pulse and that we're generating right now with the question of what would you say to 8 billion people right now? What is that message? And start to shine that message along. And this invitation to live courageously and let our love voice be what guides us. And so, Tammy, you can take us deeper into that. So beautiful, the three of you. Thank you so much for adding your love into the field today and bringing us all into this wonderful blessing. And let's just send love to every molecule on the planet right now. Like, let no molecule be left untouched by this love.
Love bubbles everywhere.
Thank you, ladies. Thank you so much. Yeah,
Thank
beautiful. Thank you
you.
for your work and your
Thank you.
blessings. Yeah. Pretty fun, huh, Scott?
Absolutely. What a wonderful, just beautiful. I did not know about the work that both Grace and Michelle were doing.
Yeah.
And beautiful work. Thank you
Yeah.
much.
Yeah.
Both.
We
Yeah.
need it. We need it. Well, I think we're going to have Jennifer come up next, and she is going to introduce our next segment, which has to do with HeartMath and Roland McCready. So, Jennifer, yeah. Hello, beautiful. You look so pretty tonight, as always. It's always nice to partner with you in these things and in the Global Coherence Pulse and just in, yeah, connecting the field together. You're such a good connector. Yeah, thank you.
Oh, I love you so much, Teresa and Scott
you
and
too.
everyone on here. It's always worth it for me to get up at 1 a.m. or whatever time it is to meet with everyone. You're
Well,
worth it.
thank you.
Each and every one of you are worth it. Speaking of people who are worth it, one of my favorite parts of every week is teasing our next presenter who often joins us for our Friday Global Coherence Pulse calls. And that is none other than Dr. Roland McCready, who is the Director of Research at the HeartMath Institute and has been a pioneer, quite frankly, in coherence for 3 decades, over that, actually, now, if you consider it. He is the genius, and yes, I am calling you a genius publicly, my friend, behind the coherence. I know, I see you wiggling your finger at me. I warned you last night that if you came on, I was going to give you a hard time. And
I wouldn't have
especially,
it the other way.
well, you know, I love you, my friend. And this guy, despite his tough exterior, does have an ooey gooey warmness within him that is his heart-centered life. He has been with HeartMath since its inception with Doc Childre in the early 1990s. And honestly, Roland, I mean, you have just been a genius, a pioneer, and a force of nature. You've been partnering with Stanford. You've been on every television show known to man, from Gaia, ABC, NBC, Good Morning LA, or Good Morning. Welcome everyone, basically. And Roland is going to be talking to us today about some of the incredible leaps and bounds that HeartMath has been doing, including the new HeartMath app. He's going to share about how you can use it, and we're going to share a little video about that as well. And then Roland will share his ooey gooey heart with all of you. And we're going to make him blush, and that's just an added bonus. So Scott, if you wouldn't mind, my friend, can we play the video and then we'll bring it back to Roland?
We've all felt at one point or another we are interconnected. But is this an illusion or a scientific reality? After conducting years of experiments, researchers at the HeartMath Institute have discovered what they describe as heart coherence. Coherence is an optimal state in which the mind and emotions are brought into alignment and in sync with the.
Well, as everyone can see, HeartMath for many decades now has been doing incredible work. And I will always remember, Roland, when you and I first got to know one another was during the special series that we did on HeartMath's first responders and how you were handling it during COVID. I believe it was April and May of 2020. And I remember being on the shows with these nurses and doctors, first responders who were there telling us how they would have not been able to be there with their patients who were dying of COVID and couldn't see their families if it wasn't for the extraordinary work that HeartMath has done. And now you've made it with the Global Coherence Initiative, and I know you're going to share about that as well with the app. Anybody, anywhere around the world can check in and get coherent and add your energy and vibration to the greater coherence of the planet, which is what we've been talking about all night, all morning, night, depending on where you are in the world. So Roland, over to you, my friend, to share about the Global Coherence Initiative and the incredible work you and your team are doing.
Well, thanks, Jennifer. It's always, of course, my pleasure to hang out with you and be involved in any event you're in. And in fact, you were the host of our, I would say, a wonderful host of our first online annual GCI event. We've, as you well know, we'd did these in Cancun area and Tulum in Mexico for, I don't know, 12 years. And then COVID switched all that. And then it'll be in our third year of doing it online. I didn't know we were for sure that we were going to have the video that you showed. So I will skip to
on your toes, my friend.
That's okay. Well, I knew we might, but so basically I wanted just to kind of talk a little bit about the Global Coherence Initiative and you know, I can't help, I've got to talk about research whenever you bring me on. That's my thing. Kind of my passions are. But for those of you that aren't aware yet or knowledgeable of the Global Coherence Initiative, we're basically kind of two sides to it. My half of it is it's a science-based co-creative project. We have a lot of collaborators around the world who are involved in this, but it really is about helping shift the global field, raising the consciousness field of the planet from instability and discord to more compassion, care, and increasing peace. And then the other half is really bringing people together to really bring providing tools, techniques, technologies, as you showed too, of how we really do that. The ABCs and how do we measure it. Benji, I'll go through this quickly. Benji, you showed the video, but we all live in a sea of magnetic fields. The Earth's field and the Earth's within the sun's field and so on. So we're all living in this common vibrational field, and we're all adding our energies to it, positive or not. And that's one of the things I like to point out is it's wonderful when we come together for events like this, right? Or the Karamoon focuses that we do and the many other great events, the Global Coherence Pulse, which we do every month. But we're always feeding the field. It's not just when we come together for such events. And that's one of the things that I really hope we can become. Well, what this is really all about is really helping people and myself included, be more responsible for what I'm feeding the field 24/7, and really adding more love, more compassion, kindness to the field, and being more self-aware of that. And certainly when a lot of people come together, like tonight, wherever you are, that does amplify the effect. And we really do pulse the field with more coherent energy that does help lift the global field environment. And I'm going to share I only have a few minutes here, so kind of trying to do some highlights here. So the Global Coherence Monitoring System, because this can get confusing, all this coherence stuff, is part of GCI, or the Global Coherence Initiative. And these are extremely sensitive magnetometers that literally measure magnetic fields. And these are designed to measure the resonant frequencies in the Earth's field. These are some of the most sensitive magnetometers that one can get and do this. So there's a global network. We're about halfway there. Canada, Northern Canada, here in Boulder Creek, California, where I am, Lithuania, Saudi Arabia, South Africa, and New Zealand are our current sites. It's what the one looks like. It's kind of up on top of a mountain here in the Santa Cruz Mountains. The magnetometers themselves are underground. But when we measure these moving waves, the vibrating frequencies in the Earth's field, and just to kind of make sense what I'm saying there without going into all the science, one of the properties that and I'm actually a communications engineer in my first life, so to speak, this time around. And I didn't really learn this until I really got into these fields, but you can pluck magnetic field lines and they vibrate like strings on a guitar or a stringed instrument. Really interesting. And what's plucking the field lines of Earth is the solar wind rushing by. So they're literally vibrating like strings on a piano or a guitar, and they have a resonant frequency. And that's one of the things we measure with the magnetometers. And as it turns out, that's one of the most common resonant nodes is 0.1 hertz, but in frequency language. And that's kind of important because it's the same frequency as human heart rhythms when we're in what we call a coherent state. I don't have time to go into all that. That would be, as you know, a long discussion, but it's an optimal state that we naturally go into when we're feeling good, where we're feeling those feelings of love, kindness, compassion, care. And we naturally literally flip into this other functional mode of the optimal state. God, I can't talk tonight. That we call coherence. So I want to share some aspects of a more recent study where we had people wearing heart monitors that record what's called heart rate variability, the electrocardiogram, but 24 hours a day for 2 weeks in this particular study. And these groups are 20 people in each group around the world: California, Lithuania, New Zealand, Saudi Arabia, and England, in the UK there. And in the middle of that time period. There's a lot of things that came out of the study, but we had them do basically what we call here at HeartMath the heart lock-in. And this is, I know with Jennifer, and many of you are probably very familiar with that, and certainly Teresa, but it's basically where you do what we call heart focused breathing, and where you focus your attention in the area of the heart, but then you really activate and radiate feelings of compassion, love, appreciation, these types of things. And these groups, we organized it so everybody could do it at the same time for 15 minutes. Now, what this kind of complicated graph is showing, all those tall green bars are showing how in sync all at the group level, the 20 people in each group were with the Earth's magnetic field over the following 24 hours. So each line is a 24-hour period. So just getting coherent, being in that optimal loving kind of state is for 15 minutes, increased measurably the synchronization with the other people in the group in a measurable way. But amazingly, it increased our synchronization with the Earth for the following 24 hours, that carryover effect. Pretty cool, actually, to one of the surprises. We're working on now the final analysis on another aspect of this study. There's a lot of data from it that's looking at another level or type of synchronization that actually supporting the idea that when we come together in a group, and it's directly related, I would say, to the connections we make with others, the friendships, the connections, that actually creates a group field that connects us. This is why I like to say love connects us in a measurable way. So we're starting to see this come out in some pretty cool ways that I would never have predicted that we could actually measure it in the way we are. That's coming true. Now, a lot of our focus in the last few years has really been on how do we bring a new scientific lens to the measure of interconnectivity, of energetically speaking, of us as humanity, with others, with nature, with the Earth itself. And GCI is certainly an important part of that. I mean, I can only talk a little bit of it tonight here, but another project that's kind of coming under our umbrella, I'm honored to say, is the Global Consciousness Project, which is started by Roger Nelson probably 25 years ago. And it was quite an honor. Roger approached me 2 years ago and said, Roland, you've got to take this over. I'm retiring. I can't keep doing this. And I tried talking him out of it. He said, no, it's got to be you. I don't trust anybody else to do this. So we've spent the last couple of years really mapping out and building what's now being called GCP2, or the Global Consciousness Project 2.0. And for those of you that might not be familiar with it, this is a network of what are called random number generators, which are basically electronic coin flippers. And over 20 years of work has shown that at a global scale, when things trigger a lot of people to feel something and pay attention, that somehow changes the behavior of these devices. They start flipping more tails or more heads in certain sequences that's correlated around the world. So technology's obviously come a long ways in 25 years. So we've, as part of the 2.0, we've designed a completely new next generation random number generator specifically for the Global Consciousness Network. They're plug and play, very easy for citizen scientists who want to get involved to be able to get one and host one of these devices. One of the favorite projects that Roger did, this is from GCP1, over many hundreds of events that he had studied, is he divided them into their level of love and compassion. Events that evoke lots of love, like what we're doing tonight, right? Or Earth Day, Peace Day, these types of things. The global coherence pulses. And then events that have a lot of emotion, like Super Bowls and World Cups and so on, but not necessarily a lot of love and compassion. And then low were things like the effects of terrorist attacks and shootings, these types of things. The amazing thing, measured through this global network, those events that evoke love and compassion have a significantly, measurably greater impact on moving the global field, what I think of as the global consciousness field, right? So that you can actually measure this. Global Coherence Pulses, Teresa, thank you for being one of the co-founders of that. Of course, we have been measuring with the GCP1, and I can't wait for GCP2 because it's going to be a lot more sensitive. and a lot larger global network. But at the very first pulse in June 2021, we had a significant effect. And looking at all of them over the years now, or year, well, forget how long it's been, but what we're seeing is a significant trend in all the pulses. And this is neat because what it's showing is one of our hypotheses in the new GCP2 world is that it's not just large numbers of people. It's actually a much smaller number who are coherent, heart coherent and focused, can actually have as much or an even larger effect than the hundreds of thousands or millions of people who aren't necessarily in that coherent space. So I can't wait to do a lot more research as we bring all these projects together to create a new window into that. You know, one other aspect, if you want to become involved, maybe host a device, there's a temporary website up now that has a form that lets you just let us know you're interested. And once the new devices are ready, it'll be probably 2 to 3 months. We'll contact you. It's gcp2.net. So if you're interested, go fill out the form on that page. The new website should be ready the whole new website by the end of March. But the one other aspect that's relatively new of the interconnectivity work is a global tree monitoring project where we're measuring the electrical activity of trees. So trees are amazing beings, and Teresa has her tree hooked up. She might talk about that. Yay, Teresa, not too far away. But they have their own rhythms and amazingly high voltages that they produce in the millivolts. These are the same kind of voltage levels of the human heartbeat. And they're very complex. And so we're monitoring these globally. This would take an hour to unfold, but if you we kind of have to qualify to make sure you've got the right kind of situation. But if you're interested, we have about 25 spots left. We're going to do 100 trees around the world, and then we're going to pause, do some research on the data, and really decide if we want to redesign and expand that larger. If you want to be one of the remaining 25 spots, treerhythms.net, check it out, sign up, and somebody will call you and set up an appointment, and we'll have a chat with you to make sure that it all makes sense. As Jennifer was talking about, the Global Coherence app. This is free. Please download it if you don't already have it. It's on either the Google Play Store or the Apple Store. And it allows us to measure your personal coherence, but also the group's coherence. And you can set up your own group if you want, but usually we just all go to the global group. Got a map, world map that you can see where everybody or whoever is there around the world with you now participating, and we can measure and track how much coherence, heart energy we're adding to the field. One of the new features that I was really happy to see happen just a few months ago, really, was the ability to use the phone's camera as the sensor for measuring your pulse and your heart rate variability. That took some doing to get it accurate, truly accurate enough to measure heart rate variability and coherence. But if you're patient and just play with it a little bit, it works pretty good, actually. Of course, a real sensor is better. It's a lot easier. You don't have to hold your finger over the lens of the camera and do longer meditations. But this allows anybody in the world to participate. People that really can't afford a sensor, a real, one of the more professional sensors, or can't even get one. Because there are participants now, I think in well over 200 countries that are part of the Global Coherence Initiative. So I invite you to please join that. And then lastly, would love to invite you all to our annual event that it's actually our once a year event around global coherence. We got an amazing lineup of speakers. Urban Laszlo, Lynn Twist. Anyway, just Deborah Rosman, Nakam, who's going to be talking about the GCP2. He's our lead scientist on that project. It's a 3-day event for 4 hours a day, starting in March 31st. So just go to the heartmath.org website to sign up for that if you're interested, and would love to see you all there. And I hope I haven't taken too much time, Teresa, out of this.
Roland, you're awesome.
I'm going to hush now and stop talking. And
well, wait, that last slide was so beautiful. That's like your call to action, right? Do you want to do that one? Don't go by that one. That was so beautiful.
Oh, you want to show screens again?
Yeah, go ahead. Like,
All right, I'm
give us your final screen, which is kind of like your thing to say, hey, this is all we need to do is choose this.
this is the one you're talking about, right?
Yeah, so go ahead and close it. Give
Well,
it.
I kind of started with this,
Yeah,
but it's a great way to close. Is that this work that we're doing here, and everybody I'm sure that's on this session tonight would be part of this community. We're really all about shifting the baseline consciousness of Earth. You know, from my perspective, the baseline frequency of Earth is and always has been love, and humanity has been out of phase with that for a long time, and that's having its own feedback. I truly believe that we live in a giant biofeedback system,
yeah.
and that it really is time to wake up, if you will. It's for humanity to wake up and really help us shift the planetary consciousness and create a new culture of deeper care and kindness, connection and cooperation. So it's all up to us, and becoming responsible for not only what we're feeding the field, but our actions, our behaviors, and how we show up during the day and with others. Thank you, Teresa.
Every minute of every day. And I attended the last year's, both of them. Actually, Jennifer, you helped host the first one. And then we were all in it last year. Really a wonderful opportunity to connect with people. And I also want to say it is the annual fundraiser for HeartMath Institute. This is their yearly fundraiser, and the work they're doing is so important. So if you can attend, and if you can attend, make a donation to HeartMath. This is their time of year where they say, okay, we can keep doing this important work of making visible the power of the human heart. And I want you to notice that everything we've shared so far, and it'll continue on in the evening, it's practical things that are supporting us to cultivate our capacity to choose love in the face of whatever we're facing. It's not just a nice idea, it's science, it's practical tools, it's all of those things. And we need it right now. Yeah.
And if I may add, it was funny, Roland, when you said waking up, we're all waking up. As somebody who literally, not just metaphorically, has to wake up sometimes at 12 a.m. or 1 a.m. for these shows, I noticed an important distinction as I was journaling. I always journal and meditate before I come on. And I said, wow, when you consciously choose and participate in waking yourself up, rather than waking up to an alarm, and think of an alarm as something that kind of shapes you in life, then you have freedom, you have ease, and everything flows, and you're in greater coherence. However, if you wait for that alarm to wake you up, it can be jarring and disorienting. And so I just thought of that as an invitation for all of us. Choose to consciously awaken so we don't have to wait for the alarm of life to awaken us.
Yeah, beautiful.
That's beautiful.
Hey, Roland, one quick thing. One of our regular participants, Dia Therese, was saying that there was solar activity today, like a solar storm, and that really affects the electromagnetic field and our own field. And what we're doing also can utilize that to enhance our blessing today. So I don't know if you have anything you want to say about that. I know it's, yeah.
No, well, not really, but just that when we are in a disturbed field environment, we don't like it. Our physiology doesn't like it. There's so many studies that show that. So it's especially a good time to get coherent to help offset that. And in fact, we're in the process of developing a new measure of global coherence, the field environment of Earth. That's taken a couple of years, and having to invent new mathematics to do this. I'm not doing it. I'm not that smart, but some of my colleagues are. To do this, and it's one of the things we hope to feed into the Global Coherence app, and hopefully this year it would be a measure of what's the coherence of the Earth's field. So we can kind of have a window on that and kind of have an alarm, so to speak, ahead of time to say, hey, this is a good time to practice some coherence, be extra mindful or heartful, I should say, of our physiology and how coherent we are.
Thank you, Roland.
I want to jump in for a quick moment. We have a question from one of our Facebook viewers wanting to know, is there a fee for the app?
No.
Nope.
It's free up.
Great. And then let's put the link to the tree. We've got Kiki wants to sign up for the tree program. So
And
let's
this is my tree right here, you guys. This is Grace. She's hooked up. She has the sensor on her and she's sending messages to everybody. So I put the tree in there.
Treerhythms.net.
Treerhythms.net. I'll put it in there.
Great. Thank you. Roland, thank you for the great work you're doing.
No, thank you, Scott. So
Thank you. Thank you, Roland. Nice to see you. Thanks for coming on. We love
my
you.
pleasure.
Let's all send Roland a little love to Roland. on
A great
Saturday.
gallery view. Let's give them lots of love, everybody.
Thank you, Roland. We love you.
Appreciate you. Have a good night, my friend.
Hey, I think it's time for some music. It's Saturday night. We got a lot to integrate. My gosh, all that we've learned from Michelle and Roland and Teresa and all that's happening. And one of my absolute favorite musical artists is with us tonight. It's Mystical Joyride. And we've had them on before, but it's been a little bit of time. And they're a great duo who have now become a trio. Since we last saw them, they have a new little Mystical Joyrider with them.
She's napping on the side. I wish she was here, but she's just right over there.
Let her nap. Let her nap. Maybe we'll take a look at her a little bit later on in the show. But congratulations. It's great to have you with us. They're a totally genre fluid, psychedelic world pop band. And this is, of course, the married cosmic duo, Leah and Joel. So welcome back to the Awakening World.
Thank you. Just gonna wait for you. Cheers. I wanna love you. I wanna love and treat you right. I wanna love you every day and every night. We'll be together with a roof right over our head. We'll share the shelter of my single bed. We'll share the same room. For Jah provides the bread. Is this love? Is this love? Is this love? Is this love that I'm feeling? Is this love? Is this love? Is this love? Is this love I'm feeling? I wanna know now. I wanna know now, 'cause I'm willing and able. So I throw my cards on your table. I wanna love you. I wanna love and treat you right. I wanna love you every day and every night. We'll share together with a roof right over our heads. We'll share the shelter of my single bed. We'll share the same room. For Jah provides the bread. Is this love? Is this love? Is this love? Is this love that I'm feeling? Is this love? Is this love? Is this love? Is this love I'm feeling? Let's go. I wanna know now. I wanna know. I'm willing and able. So I throw my cards on your table. Is this love? Is this love? Is this love? Is this love that I'm feeling? Get her. Is this love? Is this love? Is this love? Is this love I'm feeling?
Is this love? Is this love? Is this love? Is this love that I'm feeling?
Yeah.
Is this love? Is this love?
Is this love? Is this love? I'm feeling. Yeah. Whoa. Yeah. Yeah.
You just wanted to be in the shot, you know?
Yeah.
I love that backup singing. That's great.
She's working on her harmonies. Yeah.
That was so nice.
Oh, God. We love you guys. There she is. Look at that beautiful little one. How old is she? How old is she?
She's
almost 2 months.
weeks, 8 weeks on Tuesday.
Hi, cutie pie. We love you.
Oh, okay.
Let's go to gallery view, everybody, and give lots of twinkles to our wonderful friends, Mystical Joyride, who've gone from a duo to a trio. We last saw them.
I wanted to mention just real quick, in an early stage, I think, of the Global Coherence app, when I was like maybe 10 years ago, I had created an account and we had actually done at least a couple sessions, maybe many years ago, but I'm excited to hear, and I fell off, but now I'm like excited to hear about the new developments, and I'm really excited about all that and getting into it. So thanks so much, Roland, and everybody.
Yeah.
And hey, Mystical Joyride's going to come back in a little bit. We're going to get his second song. But I just want to remind everybody that you can get more Mystical Joyride by going to their website, which is their name, mysticaljoyride.com. And now that the pandemic is over, I believe we could say that, they are going to be playing some gigs, like live appearances. So definitely, where are your shows?
A little bit further up there.
Further up to past.
Right there,
There we
right
go.
there.
There's us, The Awakening World. Then you're going to be in Santa Monica on March 23rd at the Mint. I love the Mint. I've been there. And then the Love Long Beach Festival. So some fun stuff. And everybody, make sure you subscribe to the mailing list. It's really important. So you know everything that they're doing, including their songs, their albums, and hopefully future events on The Awakening World. And we'll see you in about another 30 or 40 minutes.
Thanks, y'all.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. So beautiful. So far, so good, huh, guys? That's been a power-packed start.
Have you ever seen so many people smiling over a baby crying before? You know, usually when a baby cries, people get all like freaked out, but everybody was like, "Oh."
That was
Smiling, crying before.
That was so fun. And I love Jennifer that you gave Roland a hard time. Like, you know, we're all showing up together and we're all this beautiful family and we're all really having fun in the midst of all the great service that we're doing. And that's really a sign that we're leading with the love-focused life in the midst of all that's happening. And so that was super fun, Jennifer. Thank you so much for that. We love Roland.
We do. We heart Roland. I think we can all get in our heads. We get in this, I want to look good and get it right. And I think that Roland is so smart. You know, he's in research mode, and yet he has this playful, childlike spirit that it's just so much fun to pull out of him. Like we were all giggling on last night's call, which was amazing.
Yeah, we have a lot of fun. That's the way it goes. Well, you know, here's another person that we can have some fun with, and that's Julie Kroll, who we're bringing on, another soul sister. Julie and I and Jennifer, we're on working on different projects with the Unitive Narrative and the Evolutionary Leaders. And Julie and I, we're definitely soul sisters. We both worked with Barbara Marx Hubbard early on, and I started to learn more about Julie and just think everything she's saying on her Good of the Whole side, I'm saying on my Islands of Coherence side, and we're all doing the same thing. And so we have actually officially joined forces, and we're Islands of Coherence for the Good of the Whole, which will at some point very soon will birth a new something called the Connection Field 2.0, which has already begun as Grace was saying. And so, Julie, it's wonderful to have you on. You're such a voice, a grounded voice, a mystical voice, an embodied voice, a radiant voice for conscious evolution and for what's occurring right now. And so happy to have you on the call tonight, and just hand us over to you. We're in a good space for having a little Dr. Julie time.
Thank you. What a fun introduction to just follow with that love voice into the different voices I bring, because I didn't know what to talk about tonight, and the mystic kind of wants to show up. So how do we bring all this home, right? Like, here we are talking about love in so many beautiful ways, and then bringing in HeartMath and the Global Coherence Initiative and talking about coherence. And so I'm going to put my scientist and academic hat aside and kind of bring in the mystic, and yet kind of a personal storyteller, because I want to tell you, I wanted to share one story, but as I'm listening to everything today, I'm going to tell two stories about my granddaughter, because we're in brand new baby mode too. My daughter had a new baby January 10th, and I spent a month in New Jersey with them helping there, and then brought my 3-year-old granddaughter here home to Nebraska. And my 3-year-old granddaughter's been with me for 3 weeks and will be here 4 weeks by herself before her mama shows up. And I'm going to share two stories, and I'm going to break them up with a little cosmic, mystical medicine for all of us on the planet right now when we're talking about love. Last Saturday night, I had to speak last Sunday, and they just said, talk to us about conscious evolution. We want to hear about conscious evolution and bring it into the personal. And I had all kinds of notes, and they were everywhere. My notes were all over the place, and I was not organized. And I usually like to just start with a story or something we can relate to, and nothing was moving for me. And so I went to bed Saturday night, and I just said, okay, cosmic support team, you want to show up and teach about conscious evolution tomorrow? Then you bring it in, because I ain't got it tonight. I'm all over the place. And I went to bed, and at midnight, just a few hours later, I hear, I can't see. I can't see. I can't see. And I'm like trying to wake up to this little voice saying, I can't see. And I realized it was coming from the monitor, and it was my granddaughter in her room saying, I can't see. Now, mind you, my granddaughter, when she wants a nightlight and there's no nightlight, she usually cries out, oh, no. She's crying and she's saying, I need, and it wasn't that. It was this voice, I can't see. Now I'm going to pause this story for a second, because I really wanted to say this story first. There's a line, if you have toddlers in your home and you've ever watched Frozen or Frozen 2, there's a line in the Frozen 2 movie that says, when you can't see the future, just do the next right thing. And they build a song around it, and it helps save everybody in the movie. It's a beautiful line. When you can't see the future, just do the next right thing. So this little granddaughter that's saying, I can't see. I asked her one day, I said, Willow, what do you suppose that means? Do the next right thing. And she said, well, that means follow your heart, Grandma. And I thought, perfect. A 3-year-old knows to follow your heart. When you can't see, do the next right thing. And we know what that is inside. Okay, so back to the story. I walk down to her room, and her daddy sent a nightlight projector that projects onto the ceiling of the room, and it's a cosmic projector of the cosmos. So when this projector's on, you look up and you see all the stars and the planets, and it's just this gorgeous, fun nightlight. That's nightlight number 1. And then there's nightlight number 2, which is this little nightlight that sits down low by the bed. This one illuminates the room, illuminates the local space. So she could be oriented to time, space in the room. The other one, it takes you. It's like the ceiling's gone and you're in the cosmos itself. It's a really cool nightlight. Now, when she was saying, I can't see, it was just this gentle, nice voice. It really wasn't fearful. But when I walked into her room and began talking to her, she wanted both night lights on again. The projector shuts itself off after 3 hours. And my husband tucked her in that night. And he always overdoes the lights. He turns on a bathroom light, opens the door, turns on the night light on the near the bed, turns on the projector. And when I went in there was no light. So I turn on the projector and I turn on the local little one. It's called a nest too, which is kind of cool. If you think of the cosmos and our nest, our home, our local selves, that's an experience I had. And this is what I want to leave us with. We're talking about love. We're talking about coherence. When I did that, the room was illuminated and I looked up and I could see this cosmos here. And she just was like, thank you, Grandma. And lays back down and goes to sleep. Well, I had this experience of meeting the local, meeting the cosmic. And I want to share with you everything from what I was going to say, all my notes that were all over came into this very succinct order. And I got a vision that was so helpful in teaching about conscious evolution on the planet. And all of us really embodying this unitive consciousness now. So I just want to share that really quick, because what I saw was this: we all have a cosmic support team, but we have energies. We have these cosmic energies pouring onto the planet right now, supporting us in this work on the planet. All the planets are aligned, the divine, the sacred, whatever we want to say. There is a plan. There's energy that's supporting us doing this work, coming from afar. So however you want to see that, we have cosmic support. Imagine that. What I saw was, the QR codes. They're usually a square with all the little boxes and all the little goofy things, and you can't see anything in them. But when you take a picture, it'll take you to the website. Those QR codes, now they make them in circles and other shapes you can have. But I saw this QR code like our own personal QR code to the cosmic energies that are off planet. And now Roland was talking about our electromagnetic field around our planet. We're talking about love. We're talking about coherence. We also all have these individual patterns and energies that support us and who we are. It supports our cosmic work. It supports our evolutionary purpose, along with our personalities and our individual gifts and who we be, our soul's purpose on the planet. We also have an evolutionary purpose. And I saw that as another QR code. And I saw the cosmic QR code and our personal local QR codes. And what I saw at that time was coherence, building a magnetic field that was literally clearing out all the debris, all the clutter, all the emotional, all the history, all the things that we really do not need now moving forward. And as we created heart coherence, individually and as a collective, it's like this lower QR code was rising up and meeting the cosmic QR code and just clunking into place and becoming one. And when that happens, it's just like this open channel this permanently open channel. Now, I could go on for hours now. I'm going to leave you with that curiosity because we can go on a lot. But imagine that your local self and your cosmic self and all of the cosmic support that's right here for us, right here now. This global field of coherence that we're all building, that we're all invested in, literally is the part that helps us lock that in and come into this full embodiment right here, right now on the planet. So I think I'm just going to pause there and just let us know that literally this love piece is so important. We can't go do the fear piece. Don't go to the fear place. Don't go to the fear place. We're not spiritually bypassing when we're practicing coherence and believing in what's happening here. We're not spiritually bypassing, okay? We're really building a field of coherence, and it heals and it elevates and it amplifies, and it literally is helping us with this ascension on the planet. So
that was so much fun.
thank you, Willow. And thank you, Kevin, for not turning on the night lights, right?
Yeah, thank you, Willow. It's been so much fun to watch you, Julie, where, you know, you went into baby mode, right? And you're waiting for your daughter-in-law to have the baby, and, you know, and you have all this work to do, but you can't do anything because you can't time anything. And then all of a sudden after the baby's born, now you have Willow, and it's been so fun to watch you. And it's been so fun to notice how simple the work becomes when we actually get these like precious moments where we really get what's true. And we're needed right now. We're needed right now. This love, this coherence, this practice, this commitment is absolutely so. And it's so fun. We've been bringing in with a lot of joy tonight.
Yeah. I love all the joy, and thank you for everybody's joy. It was so fun with the music. And so I love that story too, about that when you can't see, do the next right thing. And like here she's going, I can't see. So I reminded her about her heart that night when she was there saying, I can't see.
No.
I want to make sure everybody knows about your website, Julie.
Yeah.
Because Julie's been doing this for an incredibly long time. And when I look at all the amazing people she's interviewed, going all the way back to Barbara Marx Hubbard, many of our favorites, Andrew Harvey, Charles Eisenstein, and Greg Braden, and Bruce Lipton, and Joe Dispenza, all of our favorites. And you can access these amazing interviews. You were just with my old friend Tricia McCannon, by going to juliekrull.com. That's Julie Krull, spelled KRULL.com. Julie, how many shows have you done now?
Oh, I should count. Thank you. I'm 9.5 years in. We're going on 10 years of a weekly show, but we've done also some bi-weeklies now. I have 2 series going. And let me say, the 2 series are really fun. Conscious Planet with Jude Curvan co-hosting with me many episodes. We have Greg coming on this week, which will be Greg Braden coming on this week. And then I started a new series called Main Street Mystics. And we're bringing wisdom keepers and scientists together to talk about why do we have these metaphysical, transpersonal, and mystical experiences? What does that really mean about our humanity, our human potential, and our future? And so we have a lot of scientists coming on. We're going to have to get rolling on. And we're talking about these experiences. I think we have amazing people. Dr. Paul Mills is my co-host on that one. Yeah,
Paul Mills is great. William Henry. So this is the Conscious Planet series and the Main Street Mystics series. And well, you can find all of this on juliekrull.com. It's so impressive, all the people that you've got there.
Thank you. It's fun. It's just fun.
It is.
It's a joy. Yeah. It's just to bring this. And it's fun now on the planet to do these conversations now where we're not trying to prove it to people. We're not working so hard to bring the science in to prove that we're all connected. It's kind of like, oh yeah, we are. So now let's play in it,
Yeah.
So it's just fun. Yeah. And you can go to thedrjulieshow.com if you want to go directly to that Podbean site and look at that. But you can see under the host tab, you'll see the Main Street Mystic series. So they're all together. You'll see the Conscious Planet series where they're all together. Thanks for bringing that up.
Fantastic. Julie, thank you for all the wonderful work. It's always great to see you. And I always appreciate when you're on our show. Thank you so much. And thank you for all the wonderful work that you're doing. And there it is.
Thank you so much.
The website. You can also go to thedr.julieshow.com.
Yeah, but don't put a dot in there. Thedrjulieshow.com. If you put a dot in, it'll go. Yeah. Thank you, Linda.
Thank you, Linda. Let's try it again without the dot.
Yeah, do it without the dot. Yeah. Thanks, Scott.
My pleasure. Well, speaking of upcoming shows, and Christy Michaels, I'll bring you on in a moment. I want to just talk about what we've got coming up on the Awakening World. And on tomorrow on our Sacred Sunday show, once a month now, we're doing a community conversation where we drop in with you, the members of a community, to talk about upcoming events, retreats, presenters, speakers, what you want to see on the show. And we're going to be doing that tomorrow. We're also going to be doing some light touch. Light touch is coming back into the Global Peace Tribe. And this week, Omashar and myself and Jay and Jan and Fanny and a couple of others started meeting every day to do light touch, just to see what it would be like. And it's really a sweet daily practice. We just get together once a day for about 15 minutes. We do a little light touch. We hear, check in with each other. And so we're now opening it up to you, our community. So any of you that want to join the Light Touch Blessing community where we bless each other, just email Jan. You all know Jan Kaplan, those of you that are regulars, janla@me.com. Just email her at janla@me.com and she'll let you know when we're going to be meeting. And then next week, a week from tonight, we're going to be doing a show all about enlightened partnerships, including Pato and Antoinette. I was with them last night. I hosted them at a concert they did in Sonoma County. We've got Chamishka, another wonderful musical duo, similar to Mystic Joyride. Fanny and Vigari are going to be with us. Kamala Devi and her husband Michael are going to be with us. And Renee and Anthony are going to be with us. So all examples of enlightened partnerships. And the idea came from my co-host next week, our friend Christy Michaels. There she is. Hi, Christy. You got to unmute.
Yeah. Thank you. Can you hear me?
Now we can.
All right, great. Well, it's so lovely to be on a show with so many people that love Barbara Marx Hubbard. And she was near and dear to my heart as well. And you can tell it just raises the coherence, it raises the love field fabulously. But I was at a workshop that she did, and she was talking about, having conscious, enlightened relationships. She said, if we really want to have enlightened partnerships, we better get together with those who are actually exploring the edge of what does that actually mean and how are they doing it? What are they doing and how is it working for them? And all of those, the pieces of information. And so I thought that's a brilliant idea. So this is the 13th year that we are doing the Enlightened Partnerships. I ask couples to come who are authentically, bravely, consistently working on being in an enlightened, conscious relationship. And the dynamic conversation that ensues is always incredible. But I have to tell you this one part, Scott, that was just like so fabulous. Deborah Giusti found the couples for me that time, and she picked some really powerful women. And the women were all leaders, top level coaches. They had fabulous businesses and everything. And so it turned out in the theme that emerged from that night, it turned out that these women had all consistently decided that if their partner wanted to be in relationship with them, they had to agree to be in therapy. And so what they said to them was, listen, I would love to be in a relationship, but if you get triggered, you have to take responsibility. You need to go and meet with your therapist. And then once you're with your therapist, you can iron out and figure out why you were triggered, what were you wanting and needing, how do you want to resolve this, what's the best way to resolve it, and do all of that work with the therapist. Then come back to me and talk. And then the guys got a chance to get up and speak about it. And the guys said they loved their therapist. They were so excited that they had this permission to go to their therapist, and how much they were finding that they were loving having a therapist, because these women were fabulous women and they wanted to be with them. But more importantly, they didn't want to be stressing out. I mean, relationships are not easy. And so
I have many friends and clients who won't date somebody if they don't study with me and learn the basics of compassionate communication first.
right
So
on.
I get it.
Spot on. And what it does is it gives these poor guys an opportunity to understand that they need to be held, because we've had fierce conditioning in our culture and our society that does not support men in becoming their authentic selves, understanding their true nature, which is love, and how to share and extend that love. And that they're 100% responsible for the love by finding it within themselves, not trying to get it from you, and vice versa. So it's just like, it's really what's, I think, is going to change everything in the broad spectrum of things. So I'm very excited. And I so appreciate you, Scott, for being willing to carry this forward. 13th year that we're doing the Enlighten out of Barbara's vision that she stimulated in me. So thank you.
So that'll be next Saturday night, everybody. Next Saturday night's Awakening World, meeting people that are doing the work.
Yes.
Doing
Yeah.
good.
And they're not afraid. They're not afraid of being their divine self. They're not afraid. And it's not always easy, but they're doing the work, and they're exploring what does it take and how do we do it, and then sharing with each other. It's going to be a great conversation. So
It'll be great. All right. Well, thank you, Christy. We'll see you next Saturday night. Thank you.
okay, thank you. Blessing.
And just one more reminder again, tomorrow is a good day to come and give us your feedback, your input about what shows you'd like to see in the future, what topics you'd like to see. And we'll be sharing a lot more about the upcoming events happening in Los Angeles. It's going to be amazing. A whole week in Los Angeles, starting on Tuesday, March 28th, with the big convergence that Ben Bowler has put together with Pato and Antoinette. Kristen Hoffman, she and I are actually driving out from Sedona together for that event. And then we're going to be with Pato and Antoinette on their land on Wednesday, the 29th. And then the Global Peace Tribe Retreat begins on Thursday, March 30th. Omoshara will be with us. Huki and Bob will be with us. And Shri and Kira coming all the way from Ecuador. And they're going to lead a whole series of events, shamanic experiences, all happening in Southern California, Los Angeles area. And a whole lot more. We'll go into greater detail about it on tomorrow's Sacred Sunday show. And speaking of Omoshar, we've waited way too long. This is, I think, the longest we've gone in quite a while without an Omoshar song, but he is here.
It's actually quite nice.
Yeah, you've been able to just kick back and.
I know, because both of us have been online pretty much the whole day. Just like
how many songs did you do for the first?
I think I did 5 across the thing, but like the Global Kahura Pulse has been online all day too. And there's so much happening tonight that I'm losing track a little bit, because Julie, your story was so touching, so awesome. It was really lovely. Anything to do with children really gets my inner child. And then hearing about next weekend show and all the beautiful couples that are coming on. Wow, they're all my favorite couples, except we don't have the other favorite couple, Raella and Sahat, who put on the Integrator Summit today.
All day long.
And, yeah, so I know that Eleanor and Waterfall are there somewhere in snowy Canada, so they can waltz. You guys can waltz to this song, all right? And
good. There's Eleanor. She's getting up. She's getting ready.
Good. So here we put the songs called Another Dawn.
And also, of course, want to acknowledge Reverend Jeffrey, who also is always leading the dance. So we've got some good movement about to happen.
He's the Lord of the dance, and so this song is called "Another Dawn," and it's about waking up every day. And you have a chance. You're an innocent child every day, waking up into the day. And so, as an innocent child, we shall do this, and we shall do this. Okay.
Another dawn, another day. Innocent child coming your way. I've been wondering about my life. Oh yeah. Wondering about my state of mind. But then I heard, who is it for? If not for yourself, how do you feel? And why do you cry, 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 cry? Shooby-doo-wop. The sun is warming up my mind. Ocean breeze blows me away. And yet still, I've been wondering about my life. Oh yeah, wondering who will take my place. But then I heard, who is it for? For yourself, how do you feel? Why do you cry, 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 cry? Who is it for? If not for yourself.
Wow, that's an abrupt ending.
I know. However, yeah, whatever. There it is.
I love that song, and I love when you bring in the instrument. The way that comes in is very, very beautiful.
Oh, it's yes. I loved creating that song. It's one of my many favorites. So,
no, it's
yeah,
absolutely beautiful.
It was lovely to see Eleanor and the Waterfall dancing away there.
Yeah, absolutely. Although their internet connection wasn't quite so strong, so they went
Well,
out.
they were doing the break dancing bit. So
yeah, that's right. That's right. Everybody, remember that we can support Omar Shah by going to omarshah.bandcamp.com. That's where you'll find his albums, and let's support him. Let's buy his music, and he'll be back for our closing song tonight. So take your beloved brother. I love you so much.
Thank you so much too, Scott. Thank you.
All right, and let's turn over. Hey, I saw Teresa Collins got her groove on there. You muted, Teresa.
I'm a dancer at heart. Like, if there was one thing that you would say, like, what's your thing? My thing is dancing. So yeah, anytime the music moves me, I'm a dancing girl.
Awesome.
I dance all day, every day. I have one of my favorite alarms on my phone is Ed Sheeran. And so I'll just like start dancing all the time.
I'm here in LA right now because I'm on a project, and I decided in between the Pulse and tonight that I would go down to Venice Beach, and I have my headphones in and I'm dancing like a crazy fool. Like, I'm literally on the boardwalk, like singing and dancing and just doing the thing the whole way down. Like,
Oh my God, Teresa, I have to tell you funniest story. So I was getting my visa here in Portugal, and I'm standing out in front of the US Embassy, and there are people with machine guns and shotguns, and everybody's standing out. I'm waiting for my Bolt driver, and my favorite song comes on, and I am jamming, and the guys at the guns are like, what is she doing? And my Uber driver was like, that is the best thing I've ever seen. I don't think I've ever seen someone dancing in front of the US Embassy.
it's like dance like nobody's looking. And the fact is, like, who cares who's looking? I'm just gonna dance. So Jennifer, you went and talked to one of our favorite people. I mean, I've known Ervin Laszlo for a long time. He's such a sweet man. What a little flirt too. I know you know that. He is such a flirt. And you got to interview him today, and he has a special message for us. I wonder if you want to introduce that.
Yes, Ervin is a sweetheart. My God, we met actually dancing at his birthday party, his 90th birthday party last year in London, that my dear friend Morella introduced us. And that was it. You dance with Ervin Laszlo and you become friends for life. So that's how I got to know Ervin and his wonderful wife, Karita. And he's just a soul brother to me, beautiful human being inside and out. And his stories, oh my gosh, after I recorded this episode, we did a Regarding Consciousness podcast. Welcome, dear friends. There we go. And he just shares the stories of World War II and what it was like for him, and how he sees no person as evil, just misguided. So I am so grateful to know him and be friends with him, and to have him share his wisdom before he joins the upcoming Global Coherence Initiative. He's one of the featured speakers for that. So without further ado, let's go ahead and play our pre-recording. Welcome, dear friends. We are so happy to have an incredible human being, thought leader, two-time Nobel Peace Prize nominee, Ervin Laszlo, who has authored and co-authored over 100 books. Ervin, my friend, thank you for being here with us. And
Jennifer, it's my pleasure, as always.
Well, my friend, we're so excited. We're doubly excited because not only are you joining us today, you are going to be a part of the HeartMath event happening in March. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, all I know is I've got an invitation, and I admire and appreciate very much the work of the HeartMath Institute. And if they ask me to speak, even though I'm not a specialist in that area, I'll do my best. So I think it'll be an interesting event.
Oh, thank you, my friend. Well, talk to us. You know, today we're focusing on heart and how we can live with a little more heart. And I'm grateful to get to know you personally and know this amazing heart-focused endeavor that you have created that is changing the world, called the Upshift Movement. Perhaps you could share with us a little bit about how it was you came to create the Upshift Movement.
Purely by necessity. Necessity is the mother of invention, as they say. And there is a very great necessity, and it's becoming clearer and clearer to me every day how deep that necessity is to move further in the right direction, change direction. The way we are going is a dead-end street. It's leading almost straight toward extinction. They're very big words, I know, but they're on the horizon now. So we've got to change. And the change is where people say the change is necessitated because we have to use too much energy, we are spoiling the atmosphere, we are using too much water, etc., etc. I say that change is necessitated in the way we think and the way we feel, is what dictates how we behave. We're not behaving right. We are not behaving like we'll be part of this whole heartful, intuitive, and tremendously important, integral movement in the world, which is toward oneness. This rediscovering, because we have known that traditionally, rediscovering our connection to each other and to nature and to the universe. So the need is there. And to fulfill the need, we don't just need to drop our level of energy consumption or our pollution and take better care of poverty, etc., and diseases and so on. They're all necessities. But these are all symptoms. They are signs that we are not handling the things right, the world right. The real cause, the basis is our mindset, our consciousness, the way we think, the way we feel. So this brings me straight to the idea of the concept of the heart. We need more intuitive approach to each other and to the world around us. We need to listen more to ourselves. The authority for our change lies in us, not above us in some ways, in a political or economic imperatives. The imperative that we need to follow is led by our heart, is to follow our heart. That's the imperative, I think. Intuition, I mean, that is when we perceive the world. We don't immediately see it as mathematical formula. We don't see it as machines. We see it as experiences, as feelings, as perceptions of various kinds, as colors, as sounds. And those immediate perception of the world, which brings us closer to each other, closer to nature. That is what is conveyed, I think, in terms of the work that is being done these days on the HeartMath Institute and others. That is conveyed more by the heart than by the brain. What the brain gets is a rational part. It's a part that can be calculated, can be manipulated, but not the immediate perception, which Alfred North Whitehead called deprehension. Deprehension is an immediate, spontaneous understanding of the world around us. And that is understanding, that is the understanding that we need. And that understanding is conveyed, is perceived, is actually promoted, transmitted by the heart. We know that physiologically also nowadays. We've discovered it. There are many more energy centers in the heart. The radiation of the heart is stronger than 5,000 times stronger than that of the brain. So we have a tremendous resource that has always been used by traditional people, by people who are living closer to nature and to each other. But it has been forgotten in this great, tremendous rush for personal benefit or national collective or enterprise benefit, immediate satisfactions, treating the world as though it was a mechanism that we could control as we want. We have forgotten that we are part of each other, and the heart perceptions reminds us, because the heart perceives us as a part of a larger whole. That's the experience. According to William James, that's also a religious experience. Certainly it's the spiritual experience of all kinds. The experience of being a part of something larger than we are. So we need to return to that experience so that we don't transgress the limits of how we can live and flourish on Earth. According to latest experimental examinations, scientific research of the 9 basic boundary conditions for human life on Earth, 5 have already been over-transgressed. If you continue like this, then we'll move entirely beyond the limits of what is sustainable on this world. That will then we pay the price, the ultimate price. So I think to answer your question, I think we need very badly to return to ourselves, which is being part of nature, part of Gaia, the system of life on Earth. And that is conveyed through the heart. Let's understand and appreciate our intuitions. Let me move with the heart not just with the mind. The mind will follow. The mind, if we are open enough and not dogmatic about it, the mind will follow the heart, in that will follow up what is possible. What is possible is shown by the heart. A lot is possible, but not everything. We can't anymore treat the world as though it was our toy, our mechanism that we manipulate as we want. We have to treat it as a living system, as something which is the larger us. The ego is a small little bit of the large self, which is the human presence, the human love for system on the earth. That is the largest set of systems. That's the largest system that we need to go with.
I love your point, my friend, and I love your book, The Upshift. I think that it is critical for us to connect to our deeper wisdom. I think that's really what the wisdom traditions have taught us, that our wisdom comes from our heart and not from our head. And when we get into our heads, we become self-focused, we become myopic on me, mine, my needs, with little or no care or worry about how our actions impact one another. Though when we do what you are suggesting to do, Ervin, through HeartMath's work, through the Upshift movement, which is to drop into our hearts, in that moment, we become part of the greater whole. As my dear friend who's with us tonight, Teresa Collins, always says, we become islands of coherence. And it is truly only when all of these little islands of coherence around the world, the unitive narrative, the Upshift movement, HeartMath's work, everybody creates these little islands, that the whole world then blossoms into a state of greater coherence. So Ervin, it's always such a pleasure to be with you. Are there any closing thoughts or anything that you'd love to share with everyone tuning in today as far as how they might be able to upshift their world and this planet today?
When you say island, I fully agree with you, but I want to add to that.
Yes.
Islands are connected. They are connected in the deep. They only surface separateness. In the deep, they are one. And one thing that we are here is coherent. If we are a coherent entity, a coherent system, we are not an island that is separate from the rest. We are a connected island. And we are all then joined together. And there is something that we can, another keyword that we can use is resonance. We can work, we can feel each other, recover our sense that we are part of each other. And so the many islands, if they resonate together, they'll be connected not only in the deep, they'll be connected on the surface as well. And then we'll have a sea that is full of coherence, full of light, full of love. And that is the mission of humanity. We can only recognize it and act on it.
Wow, Ervin, clearly we could spend hours with you, my friend. We are always so grateful when you share your deep wisdom. It is astounding to consider how many lives you've touched in your lifetime, Ervin, the books that you've written, the words that you've spoken, the lives that you've touched here in this room today and wherever we're tuning in, whenever we're tuning into. And I want to acknowledge the difference that your heart makes on this planet. I think you, my friend, are a great example of how we can live in greater heart coherence with ourselves and the world. And thank you for all the good you do for us and all of humanity, my friend.
Thank you for all the work you are doing with your friends and all the work we'll be doing together. We need each other. Together we can do it. The limits of how we can live and moving it forward so that it can flourish. All elements of life flourish together. That's our mission. That's the task.
Thank you, my friend. Blessings to everyone, and we will definitely need to have you join us again. Thank you.
I look forward to it, Jennifer.
Aw, I love him so much. You know, those, it's like Barbara, you know, everybody, I mean, Barbara's still here with us, right? And there's been some pioneers like Jean Houston and Ern Laszlo and Barbara and so many that were kind of part of that pioneering emergence of this story. And they carried it all the way through because they experienced it as an impulse that came in and they never left it. You know, Irvin is embodying what he's saying. He's not talking about it. He's not preaching about it. He's not doing anything except for sharing the potency of this moment and someone who's seen it coming for a while. And I love that. And I love that you have met him and had lovely connections with him. I've had my own little moments with him, and they're always magical. Irvin Laszlo is always magical. And thank you so much, Jennifer, for bringing him in tonight.
Words. And I invite anybody, if you want to hear the World War II story, on March 2nd, the podcast will be out. So I'll put it in the chat for anybody interested. And do check out Irvin's Upshift movement. You know, the man's been doing this 9 decades, started off as a world famous pianist and a prodigy, and now is trying to help humanity.
Yeah, I think like earlier, like, you know, I'm a part of the Global Heart team. I'm joining the Uplift movement. Like, I think if we just like claim those things by putting our energy in there and then staying connected around how those different things are helping, it's going to uplift us all. So let's keep doing that.
That's so it's easy, everybody. Go to the Laszlo Institute, the Laszlo, Laszlo, institute.com. Just scroll down a little bit and you'll see where it says join the movement. I also had the pleasure of interviewing him a few months ago, and he really is asking people to join his movement. And it doesn't cost anything if you don't want to. Just put in your email address and give him a little bit of support so that he sees that people from all over the world are appreciating his work.
Yeah, we're all just claiming it in all the different ways that we are. It's a really good thing.
Exactly.
You know, what's kind of fun is we get to have a little musical, mystical joyride, which I love meeting you guys tonight. It was so special to see you as a family and to be able to like receive your love through your music. It's so sweet. I mean, it's just like so heart opening. And yeah, so nice to meet you. And thank you. Thank you for being here tonight and sharing your family with us.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
This is our theme song. We felt like this kind of fit with what you guys are talking about tonight. So here we go.
People say that we're on earth for a reason. I don't know what that is. Life's mysterious. I feel curious and insane. But I think for myself, yeah.
Oh yeah,
So much better for my health, yeah.
Oh yeah,
And I choose to be joyful.
Oh yeah,
Let love be the reason on a mystical joy ride. Oh, and I won't let my love hide. No, I'm on a mystical joy ride. Oh, and I'm gonna let my love shine. I'm gonna let my body ride.
Rock your body, raise the roof up, work the middle, switch the rules up, touch somebody, lift and help them fly. So rock your body, raise the roof up, choose the joyride that gives you the goosebumps. Trust the rhythm, it can help you fly. So
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. People selling myths like I should believe them, but I don't know what it is. Why so serious? Planting fear in us for what gain? Well, I think for myself, yeah.
oh yeah,
So much
yeah,
better
yeah.
for my health, yeah.
Oh yeah,
And I
yeah,
choose
yeah.
to be joyful.
Oh yeah,
And let
yeah,
love be the reason on a mystical joy ride. Oh, and I won't let my love
Everybody in the world choose a purpose. Everybody in the world find your reason to be. Right now it likes we living in a circus. Everybody in the world has a right to be free. If your heart is in the right place, then you feel it. You already know the answer to the mystery of life. Put your heart out to the people and don't conceal it. When you get love in return, you know you're doing it right. There's billions and billions of souls on the planet. Each one is equal and each one is righteous. Peace and respect from one man to another. That's when we know that we're doing it right. Even in the darkest days, there's a way for you to see the light. Whoa, open up your wings and fly on this mystical joyride.
On a mystical joyride, oh, and I won't let my love hide, no, on a mystical joyride, oh, and I'm gonna let my love shine, on a mystical
Oh my God, we love you guys so much. How wonderful to have you. And I'm just so delighted to have your newest member of the Mystical Joyride family with us.
Thank you. She'll be singing next time.
Absolutely. Reminder again, you can get everything that you want to know about Mystical Joyride, but we're afraid to ask.
You also just follow us on Instagram. That's usually the best way. You know, the information keeps on flowing from there as well.
Okay, great. So follow on Instagram, and God's blessings, and we look forward to seeing you again soon. Love you guys so much.
You know what would be really fun? I'm finding that, you know, we meet these musicians. This is the first time, Scott, thank you for introducing me to these guys, right? Like, it's so important that, like, there's, wow, these lights that are just kind of shining and speaking the message. And I'm finding that the musicians that are coming through both have music to offer, but they also have something to say.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm starting to like want to have pulses where the person that we're featuring, the guides that we're featuring are our musicians, because I think then they can actually fully express themselves. And I would like to invite that with, you know, everyone listening here, you know, Global Coherence Pulse, that let's partner and do one where you can actually share your music, but also share your voice and your message.
Absolutely.
In Pulse. So let's do that.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Great.
And then next week, our couples that are musical artists will be speaking about what it's like to be in an enlightened partnership while making music, while being creative together.
That's
So,
Jamishka, right? Is that what you're saying?
yeah, Jamishka next weekend.
We met them this last summer at a festival. It was awesome. They're really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, you guys just keep
parenting
up.
advice.
Thank you, guys. It was really special to have you on. Really nice to have your energy.
Thanks,
Thank
y'all.
you. Likewise.
I wanna bring Jennifer on. Scott, you can come on too. It's nice sometimes to see the three of us, because like I said, we all seeded something at the same time, and it's really a nice energy when we come together. I really honor and respect the way that you host your events, and you know, the way that you include people and onboard people and take care that everybody has what they need and it can be relaxed and professionally done. Really, really respect that. It's beautiful, Scott. Really, really nice job. Beautiful community that's gathered around the Global Peace Tribe. And blessings to Deborah and the way that she's actually just bringing more of the energy together. And like with what we're doing with Julie and the good of the whole and the connection field, it's just, there's so much goodness happening. And if we want to fill our life with goodness, we can tune into the things that each of the people that were on this call tonight are offering and to what we're offering, and really pay attention and choose the things that nourish us. And I'm really excited to have the next part of our journey tonight to be with Jennifer Hill, who is such a good connector of all of that's going on. And like you just know, you're talking about something and she'll like pop in like the next connection that you should know or do. But she's also someone who's choosing every day to ask for miracles, to welcome them, to acknowledge them, and to embody that trust in the journey. And she's creating things that help us to see where we should put our attention, right? If there's resonance, we can learn what body part we're in the new thing. So Jennifer, I just am excited that we just can give you a little time to share what you've been cultivating. And tonight's all been practical and it's been love-filled, right? And we need to know that it's okay to choose love as your passion and look at the beautiful things that are emerging for the people that were on the call tonight that are doing that. And that's available for you. And Jennifer, you're a beautiful example of that.
I love you, Teresa and Scott, so much. I wouldn't be where I'm at with my new company, The Plural, if it wasn't for the amazing warm launch that you and Scott actually offered me a year ago today. It was a year ago today. I had COVID. We did the Pulse. We did that whole weekend of healing from the inside out. And I'm beyond grateful to our entire Global Peace Tribe, because it was you that helped us. Like we would not have gotten where we are today with the companies and Om Heals and how it's evolved into Optimal Match if it wasn't for all of your love and support. And I think it really speaks to the idea of community. Sometimes, I don't know what it's like for each of you out there, it can be challenging to be in community because things happen. There's friction, there's energy that's exchanged. And I noticed it on Wednesday of this week. We had a dear friend we hosted a 75-person birthday party for. And then the next night, my husband had a party he was hosting for some guys he consults with an amazing company called Wanduel, sponsored by Snapchat. And I literally hid in my room the next day. I was like, okay, everybody help yourself to any food, anything you want. But things happen out of community. And really, that's how Om Heals, which Scott or Teresa just put in the chat, you were there for our inception. We spent a whole year, thanks to you, beta testing our algorithm. And then after praying and reflecting, as Teresa said so beautifully, I am very spiritual and I talk to God every day. Even this morning when I woke up at 12 a.m. to get ready for this show, I said, you know, God, what is my assignment? What would you like me to do for this pulse today? How can I be of service? And I heard, listen and trust. Listen and trust. And that has been this whole journey for me as an entrepreneur, and getting to be in community with all of you is to trust, to really surrender into the community. So it began a year ago today with om-heals.com, where people could match with holistic energy practitioners from around the world. We started off beta testing with veterans and gifting free sessions to veterans, and had astounding results. This one veteran, Jim, I remember, was one of the earliest beta testers we had. And he said to me on the call after his session, he said, Jen, I went through 30 years of anger management, PTSD, and traditional therapy, and one session with Sada did more for me than 30 years. And so this led to this evolution of us seeing how can we serve people. We basically created this algorithm that explores resonance, as Teresa so beautifully said it, and Roland earlier, and coherence. And over the course of a year, we got to an 89% satisfaction rate of people just having good experiences. And in fact, I think it was somebody from Awakening World that we were so committed that everybody had an amazing experience that somebody had a session and said, you know, Jen, it was okay, but I didn't get a question answered that I really wanted. And I said, please allow us to gift you a session with one of your other matches. And the feedback we got from this person was literally, oh my gosh, Nicole changed my life. So that's been our journey for the last year, working with Om Heals. And in that journey, it occurred to us that it was selfish to keep the algorithm confined to Om Heals. I love Tangela at Soul Search. I love Heal.me. I love so many other Japa.health. I'd love to get them connected with the show. There are so many wonderful organizations out there, all spearheading our well-being and health. And so that led us to pivot, and it was challenging. In late summer of last year, I was on a call and I was talking to an investor, and he said, you know, Jennifer, I personally am not going to use the energy medicine marketplace you created, but I struggle with dentists. I have PTSD every time I go to a dentist, and I get more and more traumatized. And as I talked to people, it reminded me of my own journey. Between when I was 15 to 25, I was bulimic. I would throw up 20 times a day. I was miserable. I was suicidal. I tried to commit suicide 3 times, and God bless my parents. They tried to support me and they tried to send me to therapists. I loved what Christy Michaels was sharing earlier too, about relationships and how important it is to have that cornerstone of therapy. And so out of this conversation with the investor and other conversations, it led us to pivot our Om Heals algorithm. Om Heals is still there. It's wonderful, and it's powered by our optimal match algorithm. Though now our request today, which I'm excited to share, is om.app is the new app. And we now have created what's called a SaaS model, software as a service, so that any marketplace, any group anywhere around the world will be able to use our algorithm to match them with the right therapist, traditional therapist, holistic therapist, coaches. We're actually rolling this out with friends of ours in Australia and in the United States. So I could use your help, community. It has been humbling. I've lost sleep. I've fought with God. I have screamed and argued. I said, I am not meant to be a tech CEO. I don't know what I'm doing. And yet every time I ask God, I hear, listen, trust. And if you know of anybody who has a marketplace of healers, a marketplace of coaches, a marketplace of licensed clinicians, therapists, I would deeply, deeply appreciate an introduction to them, because our goal is to refine the algorithm so that every person on the planet has the right mentor, has the right coach, has the right therapist to support them with it. And as challenging as I find this, because it was one thing to already develop Om Heals, which has been tremendous to have such an incredible group of over 100 practitioners around the world. And now to ask ourselves, how can we bring this to the world at large? How can we do this even in workplace wellness? My last company I had built was in legal recruiting. And any of us, if we've ever had a job, if we find the right therapist, the right coach, the right Scott for us, the right Christy Michaels, whomever it is, it makes all the difference in the world. And we have found a way to do this. And despite not knowing how I'm going to do it, as Julie Kroll brought up earlier, it's about just taking that next little step, one step at a time, one little itty bitty step, and just knowing it's for the greater good, even if you don't know what the end result is going to look like. So thank you to Teresa and Scott for allowing me to share this journey that we're on. We deeply appreciate it. We're also looking for mental health advisors. Our dream is to roll this out to all the therapists in the world so that hospitals and insurance companies will be able to match the right therapist with the right patient the first time, and people won't have to go with the struggles or give up on their health as I did in my 20s and teens. So thank you.
I want to come in for a moment and say that I'm going to take people to both of the websites because I want to walk them through a little bit. I also want to acknowledge how generous Jennifer is, because there have been times that I'll be working on a show and she's not co-hosting it or co-creating it, but I'll say, hey, Jennifer, I'm doing a show on whatever. And next thing I know, she's like connecting me with her friends, and she has probably connected us with at least a dozen presenters over the years on shows that she wasn't even co-hosting, but just to support us. So she's that kind of friend. And so now it's our turn to give back to her. So here is what she was just talking about, this incredible algorithm system that she's created. So again, it's just at om.app. I've put the link into the chat box. And this is where, go in and drop in and think about it. Optimal match. Who do we know that needs this? Who do we know that wants to have a really good optimization to reach their audience? It's such an important.
I do.
There's so much good that we can do in the world, and thank you to Donna.
There's so much good we can do. I want to say, Jennifer, I have something happening that I would love to bring to what you're doing there. And I love that prototyping, right? For us to actually like listen to what's needed and then to use the tools that we're creating to then support that happening. And I love that the way that Scott was saying, like I call her up or I text her and she sends me these matches, that's actually the energy that you put into an algorithm by receiving what was naturally happening with the community. So it was true, not your idea about it. So that then we can use that to help us come into greater resonance and coherence more quickly to the places that we can be most nourished and of service. And I really feel you doing that. We experience that of you. And the fact that it's like 1 or 2 in the morning and you show up looking beautiful and very coherent, I would be like, I wouldn't, but I would.
I want to remind people too about the original where this algorithm really was tried and tested, and it's om-heals.com. I've used it. She connected me with a couple of healers for myself and for friends. And it's awesome. You fill out a little survey and the algorithm connects you with the right person. And they have an amazing group of practitioners, many of whom you've seen on this show, because we've done a couple of shows now. But there's all these people from all over the world, including Aurora, whose birthday it is today, by the way. Happy birthday, Aurora.
I didn't know it's her birthday. That's amazing.
Her birthday today. Yeah. So anyway, wonderful, wonderful healers all over the world. And so if you're looking for a new healer, energy healing or psychic healing or anxiety, whatever it is, go take a look through their healers, but then fill out the survey and see who the algorithm matches you with. And it works. It's an amazing system. So thank you so much for creating that, Jennifer.
I love you. Well, it is my intention, Scott. I feel so blessed. Like I literally wake up every day. I love my husband, love my dog, love my friends. And I'm so grateful to get to live a coherent life. And I wish that poof, with magic fairy dust, and that's our intention with this algorithm, that we can support people. I've been there. I've been in the darkest depths and recesses of my soul, feeling like I couldn't get out. And it was only by the grace of God and the incredible mentors that the universe sent me that helped to pull me out of the depths of despair. And so I intend that, we all go through heartache and pain. And, especially right now, it was so beautiful hearing Grace and Michelle share earlier about heart. It is all about heart. And sometimes we can't even connect our own heart, though, because we are so overwhelmed by the sadness in our own lives or the world. And so let's all uplift, let's all get in greater coherence and resonance and know that it's only as a community, it's only by holding each other up and, doing that trust fall with one another that we're really going to be able to lift up one another in the world, as Irvin said so beautifully too.
Beautiful. And let's support Global Coherence Pulse. And that's, of course, Teresa's organization. It's easy to find, globalcoherencepulse.org. There are 2 of the ladies that we just saw. And what do you want us to know, Teresa? How can we best support what you're doing?
Well, I was just gonna show just a couple of slides just to catch everybody up to where we're at, because that's really the most important thing, is that we're in the emergence together, right? And like Scott and like Jennifer, for some reason, we got like activated right around the beginning of COVID, not really knowing that COVID was coming. It just happened to kind of happen at the same time because we were following the voice of our heart, as Michelle was talking about, right? And so the Global Coherence Pulse arrived, and it's been going every month and sometimes more than that. And I feel like we're really starting to create a depth and an expansion of our impact, because we've just been really showing up and knowing that it makes a difference. And Roland even said, right, it's showing up. It's like scientifically proven, like as we come together in these moments, that we have an impact. So if you're not already signed up for the Global Coherence Pulse, sign up, because this year we're really going to work with Roland and GCI and the app and help them to track so that we can see what's happening for ourselves. We're going to do some additional opportunities for us to actually use the app and do a simple heart lock together and see what happens when we do that and see it register. So there'll be some opportunities to play more and learn more together. And then, we've had the Islands of Coherence Network, which was like a place where all of the different organizations and initiatives that were happening could have a central place to connect. And it's really served in such a beautiful way as a prototype, and it's entering into a bit of a transformation right now. It's in an evolution where whatever it is and whatever it's grown from, and it's grown from early initiatives with Barbara Marx Hubbard, with the Gene Keys, with the Resonance Science Academy, with all of the different things that we've all done. That's what's emerging now, right? Whatever it is that we've been doing is rising up out of that. And something's rising up out of the initiative of the islands of coherence, the good of the whole, and all of the different islands and organizations that are all creating one beautiful solar system of love, right? So we're going into this little pause where we've closed down, and on the other side of it, we're going to emerge as the connection field 2.0, which is this combination of the islands of coherence and the good of the whole. And so I don't know what that's going to be exactly just yet, because we let go of what was, and we're in the chrysalis so that we can let whatever is to emerge. So in the next couple of months, something beautiful is going to come out of this little pause that we're in right now. So I just wanted to share that on the show and really claim it, that we're up to that. Julie Kroll, Unify, right? It's all of us. And so something will emerge that will rise up from that intention. So thanks for receiving that.
Thank you, Teresa. Thank you so much. We love you and appreciate you very, very much. Thank you.
Yeah.
We have a couple more things that I want to just let people know about that is all part of building community. And then we're going to close with some Omoshar. But joining us is one of my other favorite co-hosts. Eden Amadora is with us. And no, that's not Eden Amadora. That's George, though. Hi, George. There's Eden. And she's one of my favorite co-hosts also, and we're going to be doing a show together on March 11th. But I saw that she's started a new project, a new offering, and I said, Eden, you got to let the Global Peace Tribe know about it. So tell us about the Oracle Hours.
Yeah, thank you, Scott. I'm so touched to be here. I came on right when this epic song about the mystical joyride was playing, and I've just been lit up since then. I'm so glad you asked me to come on. A few of our community here has been joining me on the Oracle Office Hours, and this is a gift from my heart. It's a free Oracle. I've been a mystery school teacher for 13 years now, and these are usually deep dive year-long trainings that not everybody can do with their time and their resources. It's a very big leap. So I decided in between circles to offer to the collective little bite-sized pieces of these beautiful divine feminine archetypes that I work with. So there's been some beautiful friends and community that I see are here tonight that have joined me on that. And each Oracle Office Hour will honor the phase of the moon that we're in. We become so disconnected in our lives, in our modern lives, from the cycles of the moon and the phases and the feelings that come because, oh, it's the waning crescent. We're meant to actually reflect and go inward and start to focus on the seeds of intention to plant on the new moon. So there's like little tidbits that you'll get with each Oracle Office Hours about the moon. And then I'll bring in a beautiful transmission from one of the faces of the divine feminine in the 13 Moon Mystery School. So it's been great fun. And I save time to offer the beings that are there who there's time to give 3 or 4 oracles, personal oracles, with a beautiful 13 Moon Oracle deck that I use. And yeah, it's just been really wonderful to have this growing community join me. And, you know, I've heard the words resonance and coherence several times in this half hour. I've joined you at the end, and that is my my mission too. It is to awaken the collective heart of humanity with all of you beautiful beings who are doing this great work together. We're like these light nodes doing such beautiful work together. So I saw the name of tonight's show and the power of the heart and awakening the heart, and I said, oh, we're all doing it. We're all here together. And thank you, Scott, for inviting me to share about the Oracle office hours. I can pop a little link in the chat if people are interested. And I think that I copied it. So here is that. And if you want to join me, it's every Thursday at noon PST. And you know, the magical part, one of the most beautiful parts. Oh, thanks, Scott, for sharing. When you go in there on that link, it'll invite you to sign up. And then you'll be sent an email with the Zoom link. Yay. I'm glad you're not a robot, Scott. And one of the most magical parts about these calls, I've done 2 so far, is that when I'm offering an oracle for one of the beings, many others in the chat say, this is medicine for me. We're such a beautiful unified field in this collective awakening that when someone shares vulnerably or is offered that message from one of the faces of the Divine Feminine, there's so many other beings there that resonate and the group coherence lifts and you just feel the joy. It's really fun.
Beautiful. Well, thank you so much. And again, Eden and I are doing a show 3 weeks from tonight, March 11th, on doing everything with love. Doing everything with love. We've got some really wonderful guests lined up for that. And Eden, thank you for all of your wonderful offerings. I have so much respect for you. And I'm going to bring on our 2 co-hosts back on again. Again, thank you so much, Teresa, Jennifer. It's a blessing for me to be able to co-host and collaborate with people like you. It's a real blessing. Thank you.
Eden, you're so beautiful. Wow, what a gradient.
My heart's just bursting when I was listening to what you're up to and what you're doing in the world. I look forward to hearing more and more.
Yeah, let's play. I see, the thing is when we start to join the things that are rising up as we listen to our heart, right? As we start to do that, we realize that we only just need to do our part. And then we just join all these parts together, and the service to ourselves and the community is like so huge, you can't even believe it. And so we stop trying to do it all, and we just know that together we're a miracle. We're already a miracle. So
love that. It reminds me of the starry web behind me right now. We're in this connected web. It's beautiful.
Yeah, let's play.
Yes.
And speaking of playing, we're going to go to Om Shar in just one moment. But even though I already talked about it during the Global Peace Tribe announcements, again, I want to remind people, join our Light Touch Blessing community. Just as starting, you can email janla@me.com, where we practice light touch. We do blessings for each other. It's a really sweet little break to take during the day to remember to bless each other, to bless ourselves. I've really been enjoying it, and want to acknowledge Jay Mayer, who I think is in the house. There he is. So thank you, Jay, for creating Light Touch. Oh, he was with us a moment ago. There he is. Thank you, Jay. We appreciate so much.
Jay.
We love Uncle Jay, and we love Om Shar, our beloved brother. Who, boy, it's been a long day. You started your sound checks with
7:30 this morning. So yes, I'm running on love. What a concept. And another beautiful show. Thank you so much. I mean, is it a show? No, it's not. It's an expansion. And so let's just take a deep breath, hands on hearts. We all love each other. We know that. And here's another beautiful background for a simple little song that I'm going to sing called The Wonderful and the New. So,
whoops. I lost.
You'll never walk this way again. Lay down all your guards. Your loving hearts will lead the way. The door is open. The wonderful and the new is waiting patiently. Take the step and you will see all you've been dreaming. 'Cause now is the time you've been waiting for so long. I've been holding you through all ages, knowing I'd be with you once again. You'll never be alone again. Please take my hand in yours. I love you just the way you are. You're my creation. The wonderful and the new is waiting patiently. Take the step and you will see all you've been dreaming. And now is the time you've been waiting for so long. I've been holding you through all ages, knowing I'd be with you once again. Now is the time you've been waiting for so long. I've been holding you through all ages, knowing I'd be with you once again. You'll never walk this way again. Lay down all your guards. Your loving hearts will lead the way. The door is open. 'Cause now is the time you've been waiting for so long. I've been holding you through all ages, knowing I'd be with you once again.
Thank you, brother. Let's go to gallery view and give him a big Global Peace Tribe. Lots of twinkles. Carol Machar, who's been serving our community since 7:30 this morning.
Yeah, beautiful.
It's like, no, 1878, actually. That was when I was established.
Thank you, Mashar. That was really beautiful. And
Thank you,
you know,
Therese.
I wonder if we can just take a moment, maybe bring Jennifer on and any of our other guests that might be here, but like so much love got experienced and shared tonight. And you know, with us being all full, maybe we can just take a minute and consider if there's something on the planet, somebody close to you, something far away, whatever it is that really has your heart right now. And then we can just take a moment and we can just take this fullness that we're feeling and just radiate it into the field and just really wherever it needs to go. In heart-centered coherence, our impact is exponentially greater than the sum of our parts, and our parts are like so beautiful and radiant and potent and powerful. We come to the end of this Valentine's week with the global sound healing and all of this love being poured in. May this help us to like really catch the wave that's coming in a really, really good and solid way, because we're going to need this solidity of love and community in order to ride it in a good way together. So thank you everyone for coming tonight, and Jennifer and Grace and Michelle and Tammy and Roland, sweet Roland.
And Riker.
Julie and Mystical, Joyride. Yeah, everybody, Scott.
Thank you, everybody. Look forward to hopefully seeing you tomorrow morning for our Sacred Sunday show. And we'll all connect again soon. And hopefully many of us in LA at the end of March, including Jennifer Hill, will be there. That's like such
What are
great-
the odds? I literally I haven't booked my ticket yet. I'll be in Cabo and I'm hopping up for 3 days. So I plan to give you a hug.
Those are the exact time of our retreat. So we will definitely enjoy that. Good night, everybody. Have a beautiful evening. We'll see you in the morning, hopefully.